It's time once again for another thrilling episode of Markout Radio. For the next hour, sit back, pull the stick out of your ass, and enjoy. Be warned though, smarks and internet know-it-alls will be offended, annoyed, and generally pissed off at what's about to happen to your ear holes. You've been warned. Now, Markout Radio.
That's right. Welcome back to Markout Radio. It's your boy Dark Fox here again with you this week. Episode 69.
Sex Ed week.
Really?
We're going to be talking about the penis.
Really?
We'll be talking about the vagina. Do you think that's funny, butthead? Do you find it amusing that we'll be talking about the testicles? Yes, we're also going to be talking about venereal disease, sexual intercourse, the scrotum, the clitoris, and we will definitely be spending a lot of time talking about masturbation.
Oh, dear. Always a classic. Thank you, producer boy, for Beavis and Butthead. Intellectual favorite of mine. Episode 69 for January 6, 1997, out of the Monroe Civic Center, Monroe, Louisiana. Hosted this week by Tony Schiavone, Larry Zbyszko, Mike Tenay, and Bobby the Brain Heenan. This is the 30th week in a row for the ratings war that is a war, with Nitro walking away with a 3.0 to Raw's 2.1. There are 5,347 in attendance tonight, with 4,196 actually paying to be there, and a $46,263 gate. 1996 was a big year for wrestling, but 97 is going to be even bigger. There will come times where the WWF will come close to beating Nitro, but spoiler alert, they won't. Not this year anyways. This is the year of also the Montreal Screwjob, which we're going to cover from the WCW angle, since we all know it's been covered to fucking death from the WWF and Bret Hart angles. Jesus. I mean, don't get me wrong. Everyone has points, but Jesus, tap dancing Christ, the amount of beating into the ground we've done with the Montreal Screwjob. Let's try to find the fun side, the side where WCW is supposedly thinking that they were going to actually profit out of this thing. For now, though, WCW is coming into its own, and while they continue to recruit wrestlers from the WWF, ECW, Mexico, and Japan, the rubber is finally starting to hit the road. House shows are picking up steam, generating more and more money. The audiences are actually paying to be there, and the ratings are stabilizing and will start to trend upwards as the year goes on. Now, let's start, though, with the first Nitro of 1997. And this show is going to go into overtime. We'll see if it's just another Hogan promo going too long in the tooth, or if it's actually worth it in the end. If you've watched this episode, you already know the answer. If you haven't, then, well, you're not alone, I guess. We're starting to build towards the first ever NWO sold-out pay-per-view, as well as my favorite show, Clash of the Champions, which, for those of you that don't know, is essentially WCW's free pay-per-view that was on TBS back in the day, and this is actually what got me into the company in the first place. I watched a Ric Flair Sting match, and that was it. That was the end. Then I was all about WCW wrestling. Now, listen. First match of the night is Glacier defeating beautiful Bobby Eaton in 1 minute 56 seconds. I gave that one 2 out of 5. Oh, look! Booker Kevin Sullivan got us another wrestling match to kick off Nitro. Yeah, not so much. Jesus Christ. Tony puts over Glacier as a complete wrestler, while Larry Zbyszko buries him. Eaton gets no entrance whatsoever, because of course Glacier eats up all of the airtime. But it looks like he's been hitting the weights again, and since his last appearance on Nitro, but of course he is still not seeing any sunlight. I will say this about Glacier though. His fundamentals are sound, but going under Eaton, he did this stupid Ninja Turtle roll, and he knocked into Eaton, creating the first botch of the night about 2.5 seconds into the show. Eaton no-sold the first pin because it was in the ropes, but then oversold his spinning back kick and ate the pinfall loss, rolled out of the wing so fast that he was a blur of pale skin and bleached hair. Back from break, Tony and Larry talk about Piper before going into the Bubba Konnan feud. Now, the timeline of events was fine until the production team and Tony talked about the match last week where Bubba was DQ'd, only that didn't happen. Last week, Bubba wasn't there. That footage was from the match 2 weeks ago. The same match that was labeled as 2 weeks ago in this fucking piece of production. Anyways, Last week, Wall Street had a Mexican strap match with Konnan, who pulled that getting carried around the ring gimmick and then getting blasted into the corner for the last turnbuckle tag. You can hear Tony hesitate because it didn't make sense. Then the production team pulled their heads out of their asses, got another last week's set of footage together that basically just had Wall Street walking to the ring slowly. Tony tried to cover it up, but the production interns fucked the announce team horribly. The announce team did their best to cover it up, but it was such a shitty botch that they just had to ignore it and plow forward. Konnan defeats Big Bubba. Konnan's, of course, got Jimmy Hart in the corner again in a Mexican strap match. I don't know if a Mexican strap match is any different than a Texas strap match, except for the fact that I guess a Mexican was in this one, which is, of course, how 90s wrestling works. That's actually kind of how today's wrestling works. No, it does not get a ta-da again. Jesus Christ. 5 minutes, 52 seconds on this match. I gave it 2 out of 5. Cholo Heisenberg comes out to not the Dungeon of theme music, but repping the dungeon with gang signs and stereotypical Cholo ranting. Now, it's so often that you see Konnan no-selling or stiff-shotting the guys that he wrestles, but notice how much selling he does for Bubba and how lightly he hits him, since he's scared that Bubba, who knows how to shoot, is going to hit him back. What a fucking pussy. I can't believe people are still about this guy. Anyways, the mat cover was not tightened properly this week as Konnan's heavy feet pulled at it in this match, driving my OCD up the fucking wall. Konnan, the innovative superstar that he is, wins the strap match in the exact same way that he won it last week, getting blasted into the corner and flailing around to tag the turnbuckle. Larry starts losing his voice during the recap montage, and it would continue to get worse as the hour went on. After this, we get a Gene Sullivan locker room promo. Gene wants to show Sullivan some footage, but Sullivan claims that he is going to checkmate Benoit, and then Gene teases the footage again, and Sullivan walks out of the interview. Back from break, there's a Gene Horseman rant promo. No Benoit or woman this week. Arn doesn't know what to do with it. Flair claims that Sullivan had this coming. Deba tries to get the stick, but Flair prevents it to get one last punchline in, but fucking Gene throws to her afterwards anyways. And she is sick and tired. Me too, bitch. Me too. When does she leave again, producer boy? Oh, yeah, right. So oh God, July? God, she leaves Mongo in July. Jesus, strap in, kids. We got to listen to this wretched cunt for another few more months. I'm going to pretty much mute her addition to this promo, and instead, let's all dream together of a WCW without Deborah McMichael in it. What the fuck was the buzz for? Oh, you liked her at WWF? Jesus Christ. Anyways, we've got to listen to this wretched cunt, like I said, for a few more months. Like I said, in May, she actually does leave Mongo. She stated irreconcilable differences in their divorce, but Mongo's done some interviews where he discusses that he knew that she was taking a pounding from at least 3 other wrestlers, including allegedly Jeff Jarrett and Ric Flair. They would formalize their divorce in late November of 1997, and she'd fuck off to the WWF with Jeff Jarrett, where she'd effectively become a stripper, as Jarrett's match stipulations would somehow always seem to put her in that role. Weird, huh? Anyway, Gene buries Deborah's voice as she prattles on about how much she and Mongo love Jeff, and that he's definitely Horseman material. Jeff comes out and calls Arn the second fiddle and the horse's ass of the Horseman his whole career. The look on Arn's face was absolute gold. And it led to Arn just waffling the shit out of Jarrett, taking him into the ring. It was excellent. Somehow the bell rings, and this is an impromptu match that somehow also gets a referee and a pinfall for Jarrett. In the fallout, Flair goes to beat on Jarrett. Deborah stops him and Mongo. The commentators throw Mongo under the bus, more or less calling Mongo a cuck. Larry gets one last shot in, saying that Deborah just needs to gargle with WD-40. I'm sure that his 2 messy divorces had nothing to do with his feelings on this matter whatsoever. Apparently, it was not even a well-hidden secret that Deborah was fucking guys in the locker room. After this, we get an NWO sold-out promo with pumping the shit out of a bunch of different merch. And a poster and hats and hoodies and Jesus. Oh, wow. Yeah, the NWO is so like cutting edge. Ooh, they're edgy. Buy my shit. I can't believe, like, the funny thing is I look back on it now and it's so blatantly obvious that it was a cash grab. But when I was a stupid fucking teenager, you just thought, they're rebels. Love those guys. They're rebels. They're not rebels. They're fucking sellouts. Why the fuck did we like them so much? After this, Lord Steven Regal is the television champion. He's going to defend his television championship match on television. Holy shit. Good grief. Versus Jim Duggan, of all people, and it ends in a time limit draw in 8 minutes and 27 seconds. I'm not sure if you know of any matches where the time limit of it is such a precise number, but I guess that's what it goes down in the wrestling history books as. Anyways, despite that, I gave the match 3.5 out of 5. DDP's music hits, but he doesn't come out. So the inference here is that this was supposed to be a match that DDP was supposed to be in to challenge for the television championship. But he's not coming out, and no one can figure out why or why he wouldn't want to challenge for the fucking television championship belt. His music eventually gets cut out, Regal's hits, and he eventually comes out after a long ass pause, and then Duggan comes out afterwards. While Duggan's coming out, the NWO come out. Well, specifically Nash, Syxx, and Bischoff come out to take over the announce position. Eric starts by thanking his third grade teacher, Mrs. Epstein, for making, or I guess he called her Mrs. Epstein, for making him the man that he is today. Now, listen, maybe, let's see, is there tinfoil in there? No, there's no tinfoil in there. It's possible that my metaphorical tinfoil hat's on a little bit tight today, but I don't think that it was his third grade teacher, and I don't think that it was Mrs. Epstein or Epstein that gave Eric the extra swagger in his fucking step tonight. Bischoff and Nash what? That was subtle. Oh, right. Sorry. Allegedly swagger tonight. Excuse me. Is that better? Jesus. You become so litigious, producer boy. Bischoff and Nash claim that DDP is now a member of the NWO, and that's why he's not in the match for the title belt tonight, because the NWO doesn't have the TV title. But apparently, DDP's time is better spent going out for dinner with Scott Hall. Okay, that's sure. Anyways, gotta love Eric's booking. At least Nash is on point, talking about Sold Out, puts over the Miss NWO contest. Syxx doesn't want any fat chicks or heinous broads. Doesn't he end up with Chyna's dick in him at some point? Oh, I'm sorry. Chyna's enlarged clitoris in him. Yeah, that allegedly. Yeah. Anyways, Bischoff and Nash, again, they tell us that DDP was going to be here tonight to get the TV belt for the NWO, but he instead is doing something much more important, which is having dinner with Hall. Now, by having dinner, he means taking him down to his latest bout of AA? Then sure. Eric reminds us that time has passed on converting your WCW contracts into NWO contracts. So instead, Eric's going to hire outside of the company, but not Savage. His time with WCW/the NWO is now over. Now, at first, I thought Duggan had finally been DQ'd for the tape fist as he reaches down to his little underoos, pulls out the fucking tape, and starts wrapping it around his... Well, he does that stupid swinging it around his hand thing. Whatever. It's all for show, right? It's entertainment. It's fine. But no, we're informed that at 8:27, the match has gone to a time limit draw by the referee. Post-match, Duggan is handed a WCW flag by a plant in the audience. He takes it into the ring and waves it around for a little bit as we go to break on the NWO theme. Back from break, Tony thanks Eric for allowing he and Larry to come back to the announced position. We get back into the matches. Hugh Morrus defeating Jim Powers with Teddy Long in 1 minute 40 seconds. 2.5 out of 5 on that one. Morrus is also not coming out to the Dungeons music. Instead, he comes out to creepy clown porn music. What? It sounds like music from a fucking creepy clown porn. How would I know? Oh, I see what you're doing. Fuck you, producer boy. The shortest match of the night gets a Pep Boys Power Pin of the Week replay complete with the clown porn music. And we're going to go to break. Lex flexes and tells us in the promo leading us into break that not to move if we want to see him flex, which, of course, we just did. Back from break, hour 2 starts with Bobby and Mike joining Tony at the announced position, and they discuss the problems in the Horsemen and the women that are causing them. Yes, I am including Jeff Jarrett in that because the Flair-Anderson feud from late 95 was so quickly forgotten. Here we are again with Sullivan recycling that gimmick yet again.
You are a big mark.
After this, Rey Mysterio Jr. defeats Psychosis in 6 minutes 43 seconds. I gave that one 4 out of 5. Fans at ringside start chanting "Mexico sucks. Welcome to the South of the United States." Psychosis tries to do a backflip, botches it, lands on the back of his fucking head. The announcers draw attention to it. Oops. Mike Tenay tells us that Jushin Liger won the J Crown, but not the WCW Cruiserweight title in a bout over the weekend in Japan in front of, I believe he said 65,000, which means they were at the Tokyo Dome. The announce team spends so much time trying to joke around amongst each other that they miss half of calling the match. There's a couple big botches from Psychosis in here, a couple of smaller ones from Ray, but still a very good match that absolutely warranted the slow-mo recap. I wondered exactly why this wasn't the Pet Boys Power Pin of the week because it was such a cool pin. After this, the Taskmaster with Jimmy Hart defeats Chavo Guerrero Jr. in 2 minutes 17 seconds. I gave this one 2 out of 5. There's a recap of Nash, Hall, and Six working over Eddie from Starrcade after he won the U.S. title leading into Chavo's match because does Eddie not have a match tonight? It's the very next match? I guess the production team fucked that one up too, huh? Oh, I see. They intended to run the footage that they ended up running from Starrcade, which sets up the Sullivan-Benoit match at the Clash of Champions. Oh, I see. So they just put the wrong fucking tape in. I guess they got their Guerreros confused. Well, that's fantastic, isn't it? Whoa. You can't do that on Twitch. Stop that. All right, Sullivan is still using the Dungeon of Doom entrance music. He's the only one to do it tonight. He no-sells every fucking little bit of offense from Chavo. Chavo was set up to job and sell like hell for Sullivan from bell to bell. He did a very good job of it, but it was really fucking disappointing. There's no reason why Kevin fucking Sullivan should be able to manhandle a guy that was challenging for the fucking TV title and the US title not just a few weeks ago. And Sullivan booked that shit. So what the fuck? Post-match, Sullivan demands to know where Benoit is from the cameraman. Gets no fucking answer, of course, because, yeah. No, this is not... Nothing about anything Sullivan is doing is at all glorious. Please fucking turn off this fucking music before we get in trouble again from YouTube. All right, get it out of your system. Thank you. See, Twitch doesn't care because they know that we're not doing anything that needs a DCMA takedown. But fucking YouTube, they will. And you want to know why they will? Because Eric is very much active on YouTube, as well as fucking Vince's retards. Anyways, back from break, we watch... Can you turn that shit off? Thank you. Back from break, we watch Piper getting worked over by the NWO in a recap bit of footage that actually was on last week's Nitro. So props to the production team for getting their heads out of their asses for that bit of footage. We follow Piper backstage where he's speaking in tongues all the way back to the ambulance. I don't know why we have to watch this. I really don't. We get it. Piper got laid out. He got taken out in an ambulance. Okay, we're good. Did we really need to? Do we really need to hear him mumbling incoherently and rattling on like he's fucking Jerry Falwell? Oh, Jesus. Just don't. See, you got that look of confusion on your face again. Just fucking Google it, all right? Jesus. After this, Eddie Guerrero, the newly crowned U.S. champion, defeats Alex Wright to retain the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship belt in 9 minutes, 5 seconds. I gave this one 4 out of 5 as well. Eddie's the champ, but we get to see footage again from earlier of Six and Hall and Nash wooking him over. This time they play the footage all the way through so that we can see that Six has indeed stolen the new U.S. title. So to recap, Giant has stolen the old U.S. title. Syxx has the new U.S. title, and Eddie is the actual U.S. champion. Does that make sense to everyone? Thank you. Mike Tenay claims that Eddie won the Battle Bowl ring and then it was stolen back from DDP. No, Mike Tenay. Fucking professor my ass. Eddie won the Battle Bowl ring and then DDP won it back. Nick Patrick had it in his pocket when it had gone missing at that particular pay-per-view, which was another crappy part of the program. So maybe it was PTSD that was blocking this from the Professor Mike Tenay's fucking brain banks. Now, this is where I owe you animals an apology. That's right. Now listen, as an excuse, I'm rewatching these shows and pay-per-views years and years afterwards, and my sources are sometimes shitty. Giant won World War III, and I claimed, based on a hole in multiple sources that I have, that he never got a shot at the title. But he absolutely does, and it's coming up at the first ever sold-out pay-per-view. Does he get a fair shot? Fuck no. Wrestling's not a sport, it's a show. Nobody sent me an email correcting me on this, but fuck it. Just like the Giant, I dropped the ball, and I will fucking own it. Hey, Meltzer. That's how those things are done, by the way. Syxx comes out to taunt Eddie with a ladder that he climbs up while wearing the stolen U.S. title. I wish this wasn't true, but what Syxx is wearing tonight is effectively how I dressed in high school. I cannot believe that girls would even look at me. The ref performs yet another leaping 3 count following Eddie's frog splash finisher before Eddie bolts out of the ring and Syxx scarpers like the coward that he is in real life. Honestly, this guy made a career out of befriending big guys and then picking fights in bars and restaurants. To look at his face now, you can see what happens when all the big guys go on to actually have careers and he's left to basically start shit with guys at bars and restaurants. Back from break, that golden voice bastard Lee Marshall calls in with his 1-800-COLLECT road report before throwing Bobby under the bus with a special chef-prepared Bayou blackened road weasel, to which everyone, even Bobby, laughs. His retort, after he stopped laughing, was good. Not nearly as good as Lee Marshall's dig, but still pretty good. After this Harlem Heat, Booker T and Stevie Ray with Sister Sherry defeated the amazing French-Canadians Jacques Rougeau and Carl Ouellette with Connell Robert Parker. In 4 minutes, 6 seconds, I gave that one 3 out of 5. Colonel Parker comes out with a new mustache. Okay, now slow down just 1 fucking second. He has a pencil mustache. No, I'm not going to explain what that is. Just fucking Google it. Anyways, he has a pencil mustache, but that was not the preferred facial hair of the pre-1900 Legionnaires costume that he uses as his goofy-ass fucking gimmick. Unfortunately, the preferred mustache of pre-1900 Legionnaires, or as it later became known as, the fucking Hitler stash, is, ironically enough, Xbox level heat, and even Robert Parker isn't stupid enough to go for that level of heat. He's darkened up his pale stubble with some mascara. How special? Don't ask how I know that. Shut up. Rougeau and Ouellette get to sing the French-Canadian national anthem a little longer than they usually do. That loose ring cover is driving me crazy. You can see that Booker and Stevie are heavy on their feet as it creases and pulls up a ton in this match. Rougeau goes for a lot of cheap heat in this match and gets a big pop when Ouellette accidentally nails him with that combo Canadian-Quebec flag, setting up the go-home Harlem Hangover finisher. There's a NWO sold out with a muted Back in Black music bed with just enough change notes to not earn a DCMA lawsuit. Here during the commercial break. Back from break, we recap Starcade's Sting's spot where he drops the bat in the ring and then talks shit to Luger and then talks shit to the Giant before leaving the ring. Luger low blows Giant, then waffles him with the bat a few times before the footage cuts away from the actual rack that won him that match. Now, at least all of this makes sense because, of course, we're expecting to see Sting at some point tonight. The fans have certainly been chanting for it all night. Luger's in the match. Giant has been the focus of a lot of the NWO shit, so at least this fucking promo makes sense. So well done, production team. Lex Luger defeats Meng in the match after this. 4 minutes, 51 seconds. I gave it 3 out of 5. Overall, a decent match until the go-home where even the announcers have to put over the botched call to end the match. To summarize, The ref runs into Meng's leg as Luger picks him up into the rack. He knocks himself out because he's a skinny little shitty ref. Barbarian comes out, nails Luger. Luger fights back, racks up the Barbarian. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is where things get off the rail a little bit. The flying ref gets back up and gives Luger the victory as Barbarian is tapping out of the rack. Meng was in this match, in case you were wondering. That was not a misspeak, and somehow Barbarian ate the loss for him. But I guess when you're not white, the referee can fuck that up, right? Right? That's how that works, isn't it? Whoa, no. Jesus Christ. Every time you catch me up. Anyways, back from break. The NWO comes out to enforce for Hogan's customary end of show promo, wanting to make this worth seeing. The fans already start filling up the ring with garbage. Some of them are throwing actual cans, since this arena uses canned beer, which is awesome. Hogan and Bischoff essentially delve into early fake news to recap the last few weeks before the Giant has had enough, comes storming down to ringside. Everyone sells hard for the Giant for a bit, and Nick Patrick takes one hell of a press slam to the outside bump. I gotta say, impressive shit here for Patrick. I still don't like him, but he showed some serious fucking balls taking that bump. And by the way, no one caught him at ringside. He landed on the crash mats on his fucking ass. Eventually, Giant clears the ring and has Hogan on his back before Bischoff distracts him and the NWO distract the Giant while Hogan gets himself a chair, then works the Giant over, and the rest of the NWO help out. With 5 minutes left in the show, the NWO leave the ring and go to take over the announce position. They put themselves over for a bit and their pay-per-view. Meanwhile, Real Sting goes down to the ring and talks some shit to the Giant for a bit until he points at the NWO with his bat, then leaves the bat in the ring for the Giant. The NWO order Vince to go get the bat. Of course they're going to send the black guy to go get the bat. No. That's horrible. You were trying not to play the Booker T clip again, weren't you? Attaboy. We can only get away with those so many times. Vince gets a sloppy falling choke slam before the NWO head back to the ring with an armed Giant now ready to face him. The fans start chanting, "We want Sting." We get a nice ghost image of Giant and Sting by the production team. Was this why they were fucking up all night? Because they were nervous about a simple fade camera switch? Fuck, guys. It's 1997. I was doing this for high school drama productions in 97 with equipment from the goddamn 70s. Jesus. Overall, this is a decent Nitro. Started off kind of rocky and the production was fucking up all night long. But after the Horseman promo, things started to get better from a wrestling standpoint. Anyways, I gave the whole show about 3.5 out of 5. Decent offering, and we're building to 2 fucking back-to-back pay-per-views. We're going to have a Monday Nitro, not this week, but next week, followed by I believe a Wednesday or a Thursday Clash. I'll have to check that out for next week. And then followed by a Sunday fucking pay-per-view. So there's a lot of building having to go on here. And they've done a bang-up job of doing the Giant stuff. They really haven't taken their foot off of the fucking gas pedal for all the Benoit Sullivan bullshit. So now they got to start putting together the rest of that card. Hopefully they don't do it on fucking Saturday night or the very last go-home Nitro. I mean, I guess it could be worse, and it certainly would not be the first time they did that.
Well, that was an abortion of a show. Should the mood take you, check out markoutradio.com and leave a comment. You can also find links there to our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Stitcher channels. You can even leave a voicemail on our Skype. Just click the links and share them.